What's going on, guys? It's Wonder Productions here, and today I have a little special video. So a while back in version 1.20.1, I played a Germany campaign, and I'm just here to do a little analysis of it. So I played Germany, and I played all the way to the end date, and so I don't know, it was interesting. I started as Brandenburg. I'm never the best at EU4, but I did do some interesting things. I conquered Egypt. Troops there. Mercs, there are some rebels. I've pushed into France, conquered nearly all of Germany, and I was going down to push into Serbia, conquered parts of central Italy, and I was able to get PUs on both Scotland and Denmark, who are loyal, and they have a large amount of troops. So yeah, let's just do a little breakthrough. This may not be the highest production quality, I'm sorry. I just really wanted to do this and wasn't sure how, so I just decided I'd do it in the best way I know how. So first off with economy. I'll just start off, I'm kind of just going over, but economy. So anyway, the German economy, it was okay. I was eventually making up to 165 ducats, and I mean, I was doing okay. I could support wars, and I could support forts, and a lot of the stuff. So, on to court. My king in the end, he was a 643. He was pretty good. Government. I was supporting most of my main cultures. As you can see, I really didn't have any territorial cores on, not territorial cores, full state cores on everything. But I tried getting a lot. I am an empire rank. Diplomacy. I was Emperor of the Holy Roman Empire, but I did leave, and now, of course, I'm Protestant. I allied Morocco, Ottomans, and Odeyev, who helped me fight a couple of wars with Aragon and such. I pushed in a little bit. They were allied with Revolutionary France. Trade. I wasn't really making that much from trade. I was focusing more on war, which, of course, leads me to technology. I was a little behind, but I was fully caught up and pushed through all the way in military. The ideas I took. So I wasn't able to complete all of my ideas, but I did go for offensive, quantity, and quality, so I could have the combined of more discipline from both quantity and offensive, as well as the troops from quality and offensive, I meant to say. And I went aristocratic, of course, for just more manpower and just for the benefits it gives you, such as monthly loyalty from nobility, or nobility loyalty. I did have some good policies, like you can get the extra discipline, and I'll talk about that later in a second. I did have to deal with a lot of rebels because I just decided to, go to splurge and start annexing a large part of Italy before the end of the game. But that's why I have a lot of overextension, but I was able to put them all down, really, and kill them all before the actual game ended. I did have 75% religious unity. Some of the land I recently conquered, like in Italy, as you can see, it's just, there's no religious unity here. Tuscany was actually in a PU under La Plata. I remember this, so it was very interesting. I was fighting La Plata in a war. They're, of course, now fighting Revolutionary France, which was an interesting country. So yeah, to military. I had 127 discipline. If I took a discipline advisor, I have even more. I had up to 400 troops, and I was rolling insanely good generals. I was getting at least generals at least 1 6 or 5 pip. It's great. Subjects, as we know, Scotland and Denmark, both in PUs, and both probably will never be annexed. I tried annexing Denmark. I got halfway, but I realized I wouldn't be able to do it before the end of the game. And finally, on to estates. So yeah, I was the #1 great power, much higher than Ming or anyone else, and I was just doing pretty well for myself. So here's just a couple map modes. Here's trade. Here's not trade. Here's technology, diplomatic, cultural. I was originally going to convert I was originally thought I could convert Denmark to German, but then I realized that he's not a vassal. He's, of course, in PU. So yeah, all these countries hate me, and my friends, I was talking to them about this. I think I got up to 1,000 aggressive expansion with France and Tuscany or Poland. So this was my mistake here. I'll show you in a second when I was talking when I go through the timeline. But I decided that after a point when I became the Holy Roman Empire and had about 100 or 200,000 troops, to say screw AE and just start attacking everyone. So whenever I would declare a war, I would have to fight these massive coalitions with all these countries, which was a problem for me. But even though I won basically all of them, I would have to fight these coalition wars, and it was just tiring my country out, and I shouldn't have done that. Instead, I should have waited for my aid to tick down, but I just didn't really care, and that was my fault because I thought Germany was super strong, which they were, but still. So yeah. yeah, so a little bit, a lot of local autonomy besides for, of course, central Germany. It's just players. This is, of course, states. So you can see Germany is very devastated. A lot of wars. France is also very devastated. Holy Roman Empire doesn't exist. Von Hohenzollern. And then, I didn't actually realize this, but they have the same dynasty. That's actually pretty cool. So yeah. Yeah, so let's take a little look at the New World. So, Canada, I think, was a Norwegian colony. It was they're actually a Britannic colony. They gained independence. Scotland got in here. Mexico, of course, gained independence from Portugal. Ooh, that's interesting. And yeah, so the French were pushing in heavily, and the English were actually nearly completely destroyed. They did actually hold out a little bit and gain some back through a war. Now they have a little bit of land, but not that much. I pushed in. There. Africa, I didn't really do much in. Dragobon and Mali, they gained a lot of strength. Yeah, and then Malaya did very well too, which I was surprised by. Australia gained independence. Vijayanagar was doing well, and Ming was doing well for themselves. So yeah. Anyway, let's watch the timeline. So I started off early on as Brandenburg. Let's go C3. And early on I didn't really do that much. I won a war against the Teutons, and then I pushed into Pomerania. But I was at like a certain height for a while, where I wasn't the strongest. Yeah, so I was just going early on for early Prussia, which was my plan here. I thought that early Prussia would be easy, but then of course I had to wait for AE because this was when I was obeying AE rules. So yeah, me pushing into Hamburg, and this is where I formed Prussia. And with Prussia, you get claims on Poland and everything. So I was just slowly annexing countries because I was still obeying AE. Of course, I didn't want to go crazy. France invaded England. That's fun. Yeah. So just slowly, Denmark went crazy. They annexed Sweden. That was scary for a while. I did fight a war with Denmark before I actually gained the PU, which was interesting. But I was just slowly expanding across Germany, getting more and more power as I went. I mean, this was my plan, to really just slowly push, and this is where I took most of mainland Denmark, and then I got the PU right after, which was kind of funny. So now I had Denmark fighting with me. The Dutch invaded England. I forgot about that, and the French also did too. Scottish England was just a total mess. And I was basically Germany at this point. All I had to do was push into Bavaria, and that's really it. So I was making a slow expansion over here. Yeah, and this is where I really said screw AE, and that's why I invaded France over here, because I was like, one sec. In about 1640 or 1650, I decided to say screw AE, and I decided to just invade France downright, because I thought that if I'm going to gain so much AE from a war, because I was just like, why not take as much as physically possible? So I was able to get a foothold in England and take Paris, my main goal. I did take a lot of major cities in this. So yeah, this is me going, basically I broke truce, and because the whole world coalitioned me, so I was just like, why not? Just defeat France while they're weak, because France had a lot of troops, so I really messed up France. And I have to fight a long coalition war, and I won very little from it. And then of course I attack again because I was able to peace out Bohemia before, and this is where I go push in, going for Bavaria. I'll land. So here we go. I got Bavaria, and I think this is where I formed Germany. There we go. Yep, formed Germany. And now I go on to get Vienna. That was my goal, and I actually conquered some of the Balkans here. I think I also go in to invade Egypt because I wanted Cairo. So yep, I conquered Italy, and I was like, this is I went to invade Egypt because I just wanted a bunch of major cities. And finally I unite my lands by conquering large parts of Venice. Yep, that's really it. So I'm gonna stop talking here, and I will just take it away with just a sped up version of this timeline. Hopefully enjoyed. Yeah.